Officer Lopez Fitzgerald graduated with top honors in his class at the police academy. He's not only one of Harmony PD's finest officers, he's one of the finest men I've had the privilege to work with. And we're damn lucky to have him. So no, Mr. Crane, I will not fire Luis.
Perhaps a reminder is in order here. I'm Julian Crane. Harmony is my town. I decide who our police department is lucky to have.
The town of Harmony belongs to its citizens, not one man or one family.
You're either trying to provoke me or you're very naive, and since you are the chief of police, I assume it's the former.
Well, whatever works for you, Julian. But like I said before, Luis Lopez Fitzgerald is staying.
That's out of the question. The man's had a string of run-ins with my sister Sheridan. It's only a matter of time before the media picks up on this case of harassment. I won't tolerate publicity.
Well, that's between you and them, and nobody tells me how to run my police force.
On second thought, you are naive. Don't you understand that if you don't give me what I want, the Harmony Police Department won't be yours much longer?
Me, Julian?
No, not at all. I'm just aware that your contract's up for renewal in a few months. Meaning I would be very happy to use my considerable influence with the review board to see that you're awarded a hefty pay raise and a long extension if you were to play ball with me.
And if I don't?
Then I'd have to be forced to suggest that your contract be terminated.
That's blackmail.
Now, spare me the righteous indignation. We're both grown men here. We can discuss the facts of life without pussyfooting around.
The fact is, Luis Lopez Fitzgerald does not deserve to lose his job.
Your loyalty strikes me as being a mite misdirected, Chief Bennett. Aren't you supposed to be the quintessential family man?
I'm a devoted family man, that's right.
And didn't I hear something about you adding your wife's orphan niece to your household recently?
Yeah, she's just moved in, but what does that have to...
My, another mouth to feed on a not terribly remarkable salary. I'd think a pay hike for you would come in rather handy.
Well, most people could use more money than they have.
So I hear. And if I recall, my bank holds the mortgage on your home.
I pay my bills on time every month.
Bully for you, Chief Bennett. But I'm sure you've heard those horror stories of bookkeeping slip-ups. You know, checks getting lost in the mail. It's terrible what can happen to a person's credit rating with just the smallest oversight. I understand it could take years to unravel such a thing.
You just don't get it, do you? No, I'm not going to fire Luis. And as far as your threats go, in order to have me removed as police chief, you'd have to prove that I was incompetent or at the very least use questionable judgment. The people in this town know better.
Do they?
Oh, yeah, they do. So if I were you, I'd get used to the fact that Luis is staying on Harmony's police force, and so am I. All the Crane money, power, and threats will never change that.
I'm wearying of this conversation. I want you to go out and fire Lopez Fitzgerald right now.
I've already told you. It's not going to happen. So if you're finished saying what you got to say, I have a police force to run.
You'll fire him right now, and that's the last I want to hear of it.
Chief Bennett isn't going to fire anyone, Julian. And I'm going to make sure of it.
Excuse us, Sheridan. This is a private meeting between Chief Bennett and myself.
Oh, I have every right to be here, Julian, since the subject of your meeting does concern me.
I take it Luis went running to you for help.
Well, not at all. But I did get him to tell me why he and Chief Bennett were called here by you. You have no right to interfere, Julian.
I have every right.
I talked to the mayor last night. The situation was taken care of. You had absolutely no reason to get involved.
I'm ordering you to leave right now.
Oh, I bet you wish that I would just disappear into thin air, don't you? What would you have me do, Julian? Book the next flight to Paris? I see. You wish I had never come back from Europe in the first place.
That's enough?
When is anything ever enough for you, Julian? What, does my presence embarrass you? Am I to be banished now because this is men's business and I'm a woman? I am well aware that in our family, the rights of leadership are reserved for the firstborn sons. But you know, I've always disagreed with the wisdom of that, especially in this generation, because look where it's gotten us. Forgive me, Chief Bennett. I was always raised to never air the soiled family linens in front of outsiders. But I'm afraid that my brother overreacted when he talked to the mayor.
I most certainly did not.
If you had any idea of what actually transpired last night, you would not be hounding Officer Lopez Fitzgerald and Chief Bennett. The officer did nothing wrong. The entire incident was my fault.
I'm so disappointed that my own sister has allied herself against me and against the family. I'm certain Father will be equally as disappointed, perhaps even more so than I. Struck a nerve, sister. Cat got your tongue, sister dearest? Or did the mention of our father Alistair remind you of certain obligations as a Crane?
I'm not afraid of what our father would say. In fact, he should be proud of me that I stood in the way of an innocent man losing his job.
Who are you kidding, Sheridan? In any case, the matter still doesn't concern you. I've ordered the chief to fire the officer in question. That's the end of it.
And I told you...
Excuse me, Chief Bennett, but I'm afraid my brother doesn't understand exactly how serious I am. If you don't back down on this, then I'm going to go to our enemies in the media.
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, I bet they would just love to jump on a story about the almighty powerful Cranes bullying a trusted public servant out of his livelihood.
You will not go to the media with this. Do you hear me?
Now you've struck a nerve, Julian.
Yes?
Ethan, would you come downstairs? There's something I'd like to run by you.
Sure. I'll be right down.
Ethan will be down in a moment.
Then wouldn't you like to answer my question before he gets here, Julian?
You're not serious about going to the media?
Oh, watch me. Or we can forget all about this if you'll just rescind your order to Chief Bennett about firing Officer Lopez Fitzgerald. I take it you're reconsidering. The officer can keep his job? I'll assume that's a yes.
Congratulations, Chief Bennett. You won this round. I must insist that you keep Luis away from my sister from now on.
Or perhaps you've forgotten. But your sister still has to do community service with Luis Lopez Fitzgerald at the youth center.
That'll be over shortly. When it is, if the officer so much as sees Sheridan coming down the street, he's to cross to the other side.
I can assure you, Julian, that Sheridan is the last person Luis wants to run into.
I'm glad to hear that. Oh, and in spite of what you and Sheridan seem to think, Harmony is my town. I will do with it as I please.
What is it now, Mr. Crane?
Well, I haven't had a chance to run this by Ethan yet, but I'm hoping he'll become more involved with the family responsibilities here in Harmony.
I'd like that. I'm just not sure where I'll be living.
If you're referring to your mother's foolish idea about you rushing off to Washington, there'll be plenty of time for that. I want to make you the new liaison between the police department and Crane Industries.
You've never mentioned that.
Well, it just came to me. Basically, it entails your sitting on the police board and being Chief Bennett's direct tie to anything having to do with the Crane family or our interests. What do you say?
Well, sounds fine with me.
Chief Bennett?
Ethan strikes me as a young man with integrity and honor. You must be very proud to have such a fine young son, Julian.
Yes, I am.
Well, I have no problem with the idea.
Excellent. So why don't you two go over exactly what Ethan's role is going to be?
After all, you'll be working closely together from now on?
What the hell?
Mother? Are you all right? I don't know. What do you think, Hal? He's fainted? Mother?